It's not hard to find out what life in New Zealand's really like. You can just open the newspaper or go online and see what's happening in New Zealand. But really, you and I both know they don't really tell you the good stuff, do they? And then the lady on the checkout picks up this bag of apricots, right? You know, like this little cellophane bag and these dried apricots that you can buy. And she puts them on the scale and taps in the number. And then she went, oh, no, that's far too expensive. Like that. And she picks up the apricots and she says to the woman, these apricots? In this week's episode, we're going to share with you what life in New Zealand is really like. What it's like to be on the ground in New Zealand, living here, and all the things that go on with that. So let's jump into the episode and find out what life down under is really like. It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama show. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian, who's not allowed to talk.
And we're back this week to bring you straight up to date with all the news that has been happening here in New Zealand, on the ground in New Zealand, life in New Zealand as it really is. I mean, don't listen to any of that stuff on the news. Can't be trusted. We're here to tell you what's really going on. Yeah. But first, welcome back to the show. If you're new here, we're Liz and Brian, husband and wife, and we talk about life in New Zealand, living in New Zealand, travelling, just stuff really, don't we, Bri?
Yeah. Stuff, and it's a bit of a bumper show with Taranaki stuff today, eh, Liz?
It is, and this show is a special show, actually, for the people that have been following us right from the start. That's not to say you're not welcome if you've only just turned up. You are very welcome. But this is for you. This is for you guys who have waited patiently for us for the last few weeks, knowing that we've had a few bumps to deal with, and we just wanted to make this episode for you, to just put you in the picture and let you know what's going on. So later in the show, we will be just diving into what's been happening in our personal lives and, what's been going on there. So just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us.
Yep.
So, yes, we came back. We were house sitting in Napier. The last time you saw us, we were house sitting in Napier, weren't we, Brian?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we just the release of your audiobook and things like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we'd gone down to Napier. We're huge fans of house sitting, and we fancied a bit of a break. And house sitting it's free, it's brilliant. It's, you know, if you want to see different parts of the world and you don't want to stay in a hotel or pay big money for Airbnbs, then house sitting is great, isn't it?
It is. It's brilliant. I mean, it's not free as in free. It's free. You have to join up for a year, and then, you know, house sitting shouldn't cost you anything.
No, it shouldn't. No. But that's a different story. But anyway, so off we go down to Napier for 5 weeks, and we're telling everyone, like, oh, we're going to Napier, and we made a video while we were down there. And while we were down there, we got some news that meant we had to come home early. Like I said, I'm going to share that with you later in the show. But what you'll also remember when we were down in Napier is we couldn't really find a decent cafe. We were there moaning about, you know, oh, we can't find a decent cafe and they won't serve us tea, and, you know, just doing the British thing, really, just having a bit of a moan about us not being able to find our perfect place.
A good whinge.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because the thing is, with us, is probably like yourself, we just like to find a little cafe, you know, that's just, it ticks all the boxes. You know, when you find one of those places.
I know, and it tends to be open every day.
Yeah,
because there's some great cafes in Napier that only open when the weather's right.
Yeah.
You know, like today, you know, it's a springtime in New Zealand, and, you know, they'll open on certain days. If it's too windy, they won't open.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
And I think we're a bit weird, you see. We're not like, you know, we are a bit weird because we're one of those couples that never like to change our habits. Like, you know, once we find a place, we just stay there for 25 years and we never move.
Yeah, we always used to sort of, I don't know, make fun of people that did that stuff.
And now we've turned
into it, don't you? Like,
yeah.
You know, it's like,
It's because you like what you like, don't you?
People
you know,
like
you don't
routine.
want to be. Yeah, they do, Bri. Yeah. You know, and what's that noise? Oh,
it's the farmer.
Chickens. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so here we are in Napier looking for this cafe, and we had a week just before we were brought home by no fault of our own, but it was just before we were brought home. We found the best place in Napier, and we could not come on here and not share it with you because we know that you love these little recommendations. So this place that we found, it was called Magnet.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's a cafe. It's a caravan, isn't it, Bri? Or is it a...
It's a 20-foot container that's got its own dedicated place on the beachfront, on the shore, on the foreshore, as you say here in New Zealand. It's got a little deck outside of it, and then it's got beanbags.
We live in New Zealand, Bri. Don't be saying that as if you're not in New Zealand. We are actually here, and you live here.
The foreshore. It's just like I'd never heard of that. It's just the seafront.
I know, but what I'm saying is you've been here for long enough now to not be saying things like, you say in New Zealand.
What they say in New Zealand. Yeah, but not everyone's from New Zealand, you know.
Yeah, carry
on. Anyway, so let's Brian talk.
Do you want to see my notes? Let Brian talk. I got a comment the other day saying, you need to let Brian talk more.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'll be writing it down to remind myself. So go on.
This is like one of those little wind-up.
Anyway. Go on, what are you saying? Go on. Go on.
Yeah, that's enough. Anyway, number two.
It's a container.
Yeah.
It's a container on the end of the beach in Napier, right? Yeah. So Napier Beach it's rocky. And a lot of people complain about that. I've seen, like reviews and things, and they're, oh no, the beach is no good. It's rocky, you can't swim there.
And the sea's too wet for them as well.
And it's true, it is really, really rough. But Napier Beach is vast, right? It's just... It goes on for ages.
It just seems to go on forever till you get to the next river, doesn't it? And then it goes on to the next one. It's Hawke's Bay, basically. It's just this huge bay. It's a big bay.
And you can sit at this cafe. You sit here and you look out and you see Cape Kidnappers in the distance.
Yeah.
And to that side, and then to the left, you can see it goes far, far down towards Gisborne Way. And yes, it's not sandy, but it's just got a real beauty of its own.
Yeah.
And what makes it even more beautiful, and what made it even more beautiful for me and Bri, the little, things...
Spit it out, come on.
The little husband and wife that like to do stuff every day and keep it regular, was this cafe. And it's run by a lady, and I'm not joking, everything about this place is perfect. Isn't it, Brian?
It's brilliant. It really is.
She is just the most gorgeous woman who runs it. We went there in the week. We went there at the weekend when it was packed.
And I think she brings her family, the kids come and help.
Yeah.
Or it's a bunch of younger people. I think they're her kids. I wouldn't, whether they all or not, I don't know. But it's a lovely feel.
It's gorgeous.
Everyone's friendly there, aren't they?
Yeah. And it's all bean bags on the front. She puts all the bean bags with little tables, so dug into the sand. It's Kiwi as Kiwi as you can get. You know, if you want to know what a Kiwi beach cafe should be, go down to Magnet and just check her out.
Yeah.
The tea is great, the coffee's great, the food, she does loads of gluten-free stuff for Bri here, because
that's it. A
Bri's
nice little muffin or two.
Nice little muffin, and just everything about it, just her attitude, the service. She's friendly. It's just, I can't say enough about the place. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to you, Magnet Cafe. Obviously, we're not sponsored or anything like that, but, I just wanted you to know that...
Yeah, but that's what it's about. It's about promoting people and stuff. You don't need to be... Obviously, if someone wants to sponsor me, give me a call.
Yeah. Bri likes to be regular, so maybe, I don't know, laxatives?
Well, whatever. Yeah.
Company. Listen, Brian, who likes to be regular.
Was it Psyllium or Psyllium powder? Psyllium husk? I can't remember the name of it now.
Anyway, moving on. So we left Napier happy because it's a beautiful region. Go there, check it out. Beautiful city of Napier, friendly people, lovely. And that cafe is the creme de la creme. It's a gem.
Look at the Pacific Ocean. That's what you're doing. You're just sitting there and it's just vast in front of you. And it's just like, my God, I'm sitting here having a cup of coffee for $5. And you think,
I know.
Brilliant.
I know. Isn't it funny? Because you've heard us moan sometimes, well, not always, about the cost of coffee and who's charging $4 for it? Who's charging $5 for a cup of tea and all the rest of it? And you go down there and you think, I'd pay $15 for this cup of tea.
Because it's so good, isn't it?
Yeah,
just
and that's the view. And...
if it's raining, she doesn't open and stuff like that.
That's something to remember.
That's the thing, or it's sometimes if it's too windy, the umbrellas or parasols just might fly away, so she doesn't bother opening.
Yeah.
It's great.
So anyway, that was that. And then we made our way home back to New Plymouth. First of all, I just want to say that... like I say, we're going to talk about some news that's going on in New Plymouth at the moment because there's lots of stuff going on, isn't there, Brian? Lots of good stuff that we need to tell you about.
Yeah.
But I have never been so happy And so when I came back to New Plymouth, when we drove home and we went back around the back roads, didn't we, all through the country lanes and, you know, down past, where did we go, Brian?
Yeah, you do. Just that way back. Tess was with us at the time, wasn't she? She was heading to Wellington. So you end up going back through, sort of skirting around Fielding and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then back up through.
Yeah. And the closer I came home, because of what was happening in our personal life, the closer I came to home, to not just like my house, just this region.
The mountain.
My God. The mountain, which again, I want to talk to you about later on, about a message that someone has sent me, and I want to share that with you. But the closer I came, I have never experienced this before in my life. You know, I'm always happy to be home, but this was something else. This was just like, I don't know. It was like a wash, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, you know, we've gone travelling for like a year at a time and 6 months at a time, and it's never felt the same as what it just did for going away for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
It was.
I think it was just everything that was going on as well.
No, I do think that, but at the same time, it was like, you know, without sounding all magical and woo and stuff like that, it was just like a draw, you know. It was like, come on, come back, like, you know, and like someone just wrapping their arms around you, which I truly believe is the mountain, obviously, like, you know. But and for those of you who don't know, we live right next to Mount Tabernacle.
So it's a pretty big volcano.
It is.
Sits there in the distance. You've seen it before. There's plenty of videos that we've got here in the background.
Yeah. So anyway, we wanted to talk to you about the news when we got back to New Plymouth. So what are you smiling at?
No, I'm just thinking.
Oh, right. What are you thinking?
No.
Having a little smile to yourself there, are you?
I was just thinking about something, but I'll save that bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is it something good?
No.
Oh, all right then. So, when we got back, well, this is the thing. When we got back, there was a letter from the council waiting for us. You know, when you get back from your trip and you're always like, oh, you dread opening the mail, don't you? It's just horrible, isn't it? You see that big pile and you're like, oh, God, what is it?
I know.
You know, because
New
I'm
Plymouth
positive
District
like that.
Council.
Yeah, as my dog bits
They
someone.
call themselves NPDC. It's like, you're not the NYPD, are you? So just pack it in.
Hang on.
New Plymouth District Council. Whoa.
Oh, Christ, wait a minute.
Because they have it on some of the shirts on the back. NPDC.
Yes.
It's like, and?
No.
Next they'll have a little baseball cap with it on the top. It's like, no, it's not.
Is it their fault that their
New York
city is... Brian.
Come on.
No, is it their fault that, not actually their fault, their city is called New Plymouth and they are a council of this district.
Yeah.
Put it together, Brian.
I know,
New
but
Plymouth District Council.
You don't need to see it.
Yes, you do.
No.
Get over yourself.
Do you know what? I don't know what it is when you get older, and I've never been one for phoning up the council, but at the moment,
you're always doing it.
The roads. We live on a hill, and for some unknown reason, I'm not going to say idiot in the council or whoever.
No, you will not.
Whoever it is in the council that decides and tells the is it downers that are doing the roads around here, to put a load of what we call metal over here in New Zealand. You know, it's like gravel basically with sand in it, and you compact it on, and you put it. They're putting it on the side of the road. Oh, just think about it. We live on a hill. So what happens is it rains, it washes it all out. It lasts for about 6 months, if that, blocks up all the culverts, and then washes out the road. It's like, really? Anyway, can I just have that rant? Because that's really good. I have to. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like a bomb site, the road at the moment, the way what they've done.
Does it, Bri?
It really, really does.
Well, here's the thing.
New Plymouth District Council, if you're listening, give me a call.
Yeah, I think New Plymouth and NYDPC are just amazing.
NYDPC.
I think you're amazing. Go you guys. And the thing is, Bri,
just not the road department.
Let me tell you something. Because this was embarrassing yesterday. You made a bit of a fool of yourself.
I know, because I was starting to rant in the car, wasn't I? You know?
So we're driving down the road. I'm just going off subject a minute. I'll tell you about the letter in a minute. I'll come back to that. I haven't forgot, don't worry. We're going down the road and they've got all roadworks out outside our house on our road. And because they're putting this stuff down at the side of the road. And the poor guy, just on the traffic lollipop man thing, you know, the traffic lollipop
man. Yeah, I think you did take a picture of the lollipop man, didn't you?
I did, yeah, because I wanted to talk about this. I forgot about this, actually. And the poor guy, he's just there doing his job, you know, just turning the thing.
Not even one of the digger drivers or anything.
So why did you... What?
Do you know, I wanted to know who was in...
the window.
Who's in charge? Who's doing it?
Yeah, but you didn't say that. You said... No. Hey, mate, Brian goes, hey, mate, who's in charge of this? Who's in charge of this? Because I want to have a bit of a rant about the road and the state of it. And the guy goes, well,
it's an age thing.
He goes, "Oh, I'm just on the lollipop, mate. I've got nothing to do. Have you got any pies? You know, a free pie. I mean, I'll take
Got a
that.
pie in the car for me?
I'm just on the lollipop. I've got nothing to do with this. You need to see Downers." So Brian then does. It's as if he didn't even say that to you. You
Yeah.
said, "Because I tell you what, I live there, look, mate, and further up there's a culvert, and it's getting all blocked by what you guys have done." And the guy was just like this. It's not me. It's
Didn't
not
really
me.
give a shit, did he?
No, it wasn't that he didn't give a damn.
No,
It was that it wasn't anything to do
No,
with
it's
him.
not. He said it's like as if I'm going home at 5 o'clock and I'm
Do you
not
understand
thinking
that?
Yeah, I do now. But you just think how I go and see the guy down the road, but it's just like. No.
Did you need to just get it off your chest?
Do you know, I don't know. There's like 2 tons of metal that's in the farmer's field that's washed out from the road. And not only that, I don't know, we've been in construction for like 40 years. You have to keep dust down, you have to keep silt down, you have to do all this stuff. And the council just come and dump their stuff and it washes down into the rivers. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Come on.
What do you think is the answer?
Unblock the culverts, don't put any more gravel on the side of the road, and tar seal another, I don't know, 300 mil on either side of the road.
Yeah.
You know, because the road's not big enough.
No.
And
No, it's not
you
big
know,
enough.
everyone that's built a house has to pay for improving the roads, and they're not improving them. So anyway.
Which brings me back to my story about finished.
Yep.
Let Brian talk. Have you finished, Brian?
Yep, I've finished.
Okay.
The road is.
Which brings me back to my first bit of news about this letter that we get when we walk in. And the letter says, "Oh, we're pleased to inform you that the speed limit on your road," in fact, I don't think they said pleased to inform you, they just said we're informing you that the speed limit on your road is going from 100 to 80.
80, yeah.
But the thing is, they said it's going to take, I think it was something like 3 or 4 years to implement
Up to 5
it.
years. Like, why?
And I thought, why?
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is just change the
Well, there's no-
100 to 80. Just
Yeah.
cross it out. Right, 80 now.
It's a couple of little aluminiums, or
Yeah.
get some plastic stickers and stick it over
Yeah.
and say it's now 80.
So why is that going to take 4
don't know.
years to do that?
I really don't know.
No.
You know?
So, I mean,
I could probably do it in about 10 minutes if you gave me the stickers, like, you know.
well, you couldn't because you'd be too busy moaning to the lollipop man about the state of the fields, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? But yeah, so that's all going down. That's all going down to 80,
Yeah.
which I'm so glad about. As you know, we've talked about on this show loads of times. You know, I used to cycle up and down there, and it's flipping.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Especially
It's
when our
just
daughter's
so
on the road.
dangerous. Yeah, exactly. She's the culprit. She's going to be so mad now. She knows she has to slow down. It's probably her that started all
probably
this.
was, you know.
Yeah.
Get the police calling you up. Anyway, that's another podcast. You can listen to that one or another show.
So yeah, so that's that. It's apparently in all the rural roads now around New Zealand. Oh, sorry, around this region.
Area.
If you're near
NPDC.
if it's near a school or certain number of houses, they're lowering the speed to 80. Which I just think. I mean, personally, I wish they'd lower it to 50, but 80,
Yeah.
I'll take. It's great.
I think it's crazy. I know you've got a national speed limit like most countries do, but you know, when you're on these tiny rural roads, that's what I say, you can't get 2 cars past each other on our road. You could if you went very slowly past each other.
Yeah, which you should be doing.
But they're 100k, and you know there are lots of bends, and people just drive way too fast on the rural roads because they're not overly busy. But the fact is, there's a milk truck coming up,
Yeah.
and we've had like cars turn over on the bend where we are. You know, we've had cars driving into the railings, and it's just like, you know, that's because it's 100, like, you know.
Anyway, in other news in New Plymouth, when we came back, well, you'll like this. You'll like this because I know you like a bargain. So, you know, we're always moaning about the price of fish and how much things cost.
Yeah.
Well, went into, what are you looking at?
Oh, it's a kingfisher.
Oh. So we went into Pack and Save. We went into Pack and Save the other day. I couldn't believe it. I felt like a kid in a sweets shop. Loads of bargains in there. Do you remember? Last Sunday when we
because it
went
was
in?
good old Pack and Save, $2 a week.
Yeah, $2 a week in Pack and Save. So I just wanted to give a big shout out because I know New Zealand is getting a bad rap at the moment for being really expensive. And yes, I know it is. And
Costs and things.
cost of food and all this and that. But I tell you what, I went in there and I just thought, I was taking pictures for our Slack group, you know, for our private community. You can get $2, 2 avocados for $1.
Yep, which was good.
2 broccolis for $3. Old boy broccoli, $3.
Big boy broccoli.
Big boy broccoli
Yeah,
for $3.
You get-
Just had loads of stuff.
Yeah,
didn't
it was
they?
great. You know, asparagus all like $1.99
asparagus.
and thanks for a big, you know, good bunch of asparagus, and it was just,
I think it was actually for 2 butchers of asparagus.
well, probably 3.
Yeah, no,
Who
it
knows?
was good. It was great.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It just like all of a sudden you just think, oh my goodness, the prices have come back
I
because it's
know.
springtime, and I know we've got a massive stuff coming out, and it's just so good to see prices coming down instead of like $3 for one crappy avocado.
I know,
I
know.
And the avocados were great as well.
They
weren't
were. They were really,
nice.
really great. So, yeah, we just bought a load of stuff that was just, and we came out and we'd only spent like $80, where normally you'd come out and you're spending $200 on nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so we just felt like, I came home and I said to Brian, I just felt like I got a real good money's worth, you know, like loads of fruit,
Like,
loads
just good
of
value
veg.
again for a change. It
Yeah.
makes you feel that little bit different, doesn't it? You know.
So I just wanted to say that, because there's always, you know, I don't like it when people are like, oh, bad, 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 because no, it's just like, this is what you also need to know.
Yeah.
But in saying that, okay, so here's something you probably need to know. This just made me laugh so much. I'm in Countdown the other day, and I'd gone in there to do my shopping, and I was queuing up with my stuff, and there's a lady in front of me, and I'm not going to say she was an elderly lady, because she wasn't, but she was older than me, let's say that.
What, like as old as me?
Oh, no, I think I'm going to say she was about 70, something like that. So a bit younger than you, Brian.
All right.
And she's getting all her stuff on the conveyor belt, and she puts it all out, and I could hear the lady on the checkout, like on the till, like, you know, bing, bing, bing. And she's like, have you got any bags? Like that. And the lady said, oh, yes, I've got some bags. And out come the bags out the trolley, and she puts all the bags out. And she said, had a nice day? I'm doing my Taranaki accent now, and I know it's rubbish. Don't come at me for it. It's the only one I can do.
Is what they sound like.
Yeah. And she said, hang on, she went, had a nice day? Like this. And the woman went, yes, it's been lovely. And she just carried. So I clocked that these two didn't know each other. Okay, that's the key point here. They didn't know each other. They weren't friends. They weren't neighbours. They didn't know each other. So there goes the shopping, and zaps it through, nice and slow. No one's in a rush here. Don't worry about me. You know? I've only got my husband in the car waiting, ranting. So yeah, she puts it through. And then the lady on the checkout picks up this bag of apricots, right? You know, like this little cellophane bag, and these dried apricots that you can buy. And there was about, I don't know, 8 or 10 apricots in there. And she puts them on the scale and taps in the number. And then she went, oh, no, that's far too expensive. Like that. And she picks up the apricots and she says to the woman, these apricots are $10. Do you want me to take them off? And the woman went, oh, yes. I don't want to pay $10. She went, no, I don't expect you do. I'll take them off. And I was like,
what's going on?
Is this for real? Like,
That's it, doing Countdown out of some profit.
Exactly.
But what? You're supposed to be upselling.
Yeah, I know.
Come to New Zealand and get downsells.
Oh, it's just the way she said it. I just thought, only in New Zealand are you going to get a checkout woman flipping, looking out for
Looking
people.
out for you. I know.
Going, oh, these are a
Yeah.
bit dear. The woman didn't know any different. She wasn't even watching. She wouldn't have even known about it.
Keep her alive, those apricots.
I know.
It was the last bag probably in the supermarket. She wanted them.
Oh, but me and Tess, when I got in the car, I was telling Tess, and we were joking, and we were like, can you imagine if she turned around and said, excuse me, yes, I do want those apricots, and don't be so rude, don't be so nosy.
I think I've got no money.
Yeah, exactly. What are you trying to say, love? Do I look poor?
Yeah.
You know, but no, she said, oh, yes, you know, I thought that, I'd take these off. Like, it's just, I don't know, just...
But that's great because they've got your back, haven't they? Like, you know, and
I
that's
know.
what's nice. Like,
But
you know?
nowhere, I can't think of anywhere else that you would, maybe in a corner shop somewhere in England, like a local corner shop.
Yeah.
But this is Countdown in New Plymouth. It's like big, you know?
It's a big supermarket
It
chain.
is.
Yeah.
We've got everything, haven't we, Brian?
Got everything. We've even got KFC, eh?
Yeah. So that was that one anyway.
Got traffic lights as well.
So the big news, obviously not our news, but the big news that we've
Taranaki Daily News. There you go.
From the Taranaki Daily News newspaper.
Yeah, the newspaper.
Down the
It's not a
cafe.
particularly big paper.
Oh, no, it is.
As in, it's only about this thick.
broadsheet.
Well, it's not. No, it's just regular. It's not broadsheets, the big ones like the Times and things
I like that name,
isn't
do
it?
you? Broadsheets.
The broadsheets.
I'm reading the broadsheets.
The
I always
big
wanted
ones.
to read broadsheets.
I know, yeah.
Sitting on a
It's like,
train.
how
going
do you
to
read
London.
it properly? There obviously is an etiquette way of reading that type of paper, folding it in a certain way and opening it in a certain way.
Do you know what? There's something I really miss seeing people read newspapers. I love it when I'm seeing
It's
people
all gone
read
now.
newspapers.
It's all this now, isn't it? Like, you know.
But it's not all gone because people, I don't know, but
Yeah.
you don't see it as much as you used to, do you?
No,
Brian?
you don't. No. Even when we first came to New Zealand in 2009, you know, they'd have the papers cellophaned up and throwing them in the gardens and things like that, weren't they? Like, it's very American.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't really even see that anymore now.
I know.
Yeah, newspaper round. there isn't one.
Well, I don't know.
No, there is. People still do it.
Yeah, there might be.
There's always one at the cafe anyway, isn't there?
Anyway, we were down the cafe, down our local cafe that we've been going to for the last 15 years, and because we don't like change, and we see this article on the front page of the Taranaki Daily News saying, New Plymouth. Oh no, Taranaki, I'm reading it. Taranaki on the rise as a place to be for international students.
Oh,
I know.
international students.
Sorry, international tourists.
That's more like it.
That's the one, Liz.
Yeah.
Get your head around it. And so can you believe it? For once in our life, Bri,
We're in
we
the right
are
place.
in the right place.
I know. It's the up and coming place in New Zealand. There you go.
So, yeah, we couldn't believe it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I mean, last year, I remember in the summer, tourism's obviously coming back to New Zealand, which is fantastic
Just
news.
more tea?
Yes, please. And, you go to the port and these huge cruise ship there. And we were at another cafe, actually.
Yeah, we were. Chaos in
a
town.
cafe called Chaos, yeah. And
Great cafe.
we were sitting outside and someone was holding a job interview in the cafe, they bought themselves a couple of coffees or whatever it was. He had one of those ones with chocolate, was it?
Mochaccino.
Mochaccino. And we were just like earwigging, because he just said, there's a lot more cruise ships coming here this year. The tours are going to be better, and we would just listen to it. You're going to need to do this, you have to do that, and it's just great to hear people talking about tourism again.
Isn't it?
Really
Isn't
is,
it?
because it's huge for the country.
It
Really,
is.
really is. Gives
It is.
jobs locally and just all that good
Yeah,
stuff. That comes with it.
So yeah, we're very, very proud of that, and we got the article and we were reading it, and I'm just going to read you some of the things that Mr. Parks, from the owner of the Nice Hotel in New Plymouth.
Yes.
So thank you, Mr. Parks. And by the way, these words aren't mine; they're from the Stuff. Is it a newspaper?
It's just called Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
In New Zealand, we have Stuff, which is just where you can find all your news.
Yeah.
It's just a great website.
So apparently Mr. Parks said that travellers were moving away from the big cities and wanting to visit different places that feel safer.
Yeah.
And this is a good thing. He said, the people that are coming have got money.
Like that.
Yeah.
Money
So that's
like that.
great for local business, because you don't want skinflints coming, do you?
No,
know?
you don't. Because when we
There's
were
nothing worse.
Yeah, we were down in Port Chalmers last year, weren't we? And they had cruise ships coming there, and they just said they never spend a penny.
I know.
Apart from a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Is that us, Bri?
well, no.
We bought a muffin, didn't we? We buy a muffin every now and again.
Stay somewhere for free.
No,
But that's why we went to Napier. It was like,
Joking, we've spent half our mortgage on that.
no,
bloody
but I'm
cafe
just
down
saying
there.
that was when we were at Napier. It was to go and support the local places because
Yeah.
we did quite a bit of travelling around. We always made sure we went into a cafe or bought some lunch somewhere, and that's what tourists do, don't they?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So anyway, Mr. Parks goes on to say, he also thought, listen to this, please, people.
Yeah.
He also thought the region's weather, which has been voted the country's, I can't speak today.
Yeah.
Which has been voted the country's sunniest region for 2 years in a row. Mr. Parks thinks that is why Taranaki is a magnet to international tourists.
That's it.
And I agree.
In our Slack group that we talk about our community, we were talking about weather. I was having a bit of a wind up with the girls down in Dunedin, the Dunners crew, and saying like, Taranaki got voted this, and they said, oh, that happens every year. Nelson's sunnier than there, Gisborne, Hawke's Bay. But when you actually go onto the New Zealand weather, I can't remember it now, I'll put it up, I think, and
Don't make work for yourself.
it actually says that, Taranaki as the sunniest place last
Does
year.
it?
Yes,
Who
it
says
was.
that? Prove it.
I think it's IQR or something like that. I can't remember the name of the actual website.
MPDYC?
Yeah, NPCDY. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's true.
And, well,
and it's,
we don't know it's true, because as soon as we say this, loads of comments come on, and it's like, no, you're talking rubbish.
Yeah, but they look after all the weather data for New Zealand.
They know.
So there you go.
They know,
Yeah,
don't they,
it's not
Brian?
just the local region going, oh, no, we had more sun hours than you.
So just get over yourself and just admit to yourself that Liz and Brian live in the sunniest region in New
In the
Plymouth.
world.
In New Zealand. And, just an up-and-coming destination,
Yeah.
which just, I mean, come on. I mean, why wouldn't you? But in a way, Brian,
You don't
no,
want
this
them
is
to
really
come.
selfish. I don't really want loads of people coming here.
No, that's what people say. Oh, I don't want any more
I
tourists here.
know. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, you know.
Because the other day we went down the cafe and all because the garden festival is on, and this sounds really, really selfish, but the garden festival's on and it's beautiful and it
Yeah.
brings loads and loads of people. Couldn't get anywhere to sit at the cafe.
I know. And where was that guy
What's
from?
going on?
From bloody Gisborne, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh no, Christchurch. He'd come up from Christchurch.
That's
to
right,
see the,
yeah.
the, you know.
And so it's like
all
that
going on here.
double-edged thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you want people to come to experience the beauty of it, but you don't want to share because it's like, no, don't
I tell you what.
too much.
I tell you what was funny though, Liz. That morning that we were at the cafe. I think it was last Sunday or something like that, wasn't it? Like, you know, and these guys had come over from parked the car on the other side of the road, come over, ordering the stuff, and then the heavens opened, didn't it?
Yeah.
It absolutely, and it wasn't just you couldn't
It's
almost you
torrential.
couldn't see the other side of the road hardly, could you? And we've got Ton from. Is a friend of ours down there from Harrop Deacon Motors, and he was just going, hang on here for a minute, because he's just like the local weather guru, isn't he?
knows
Like, you know,
everything,
he
yeah.
knows what's going to be happening because obviously his cars where they can open them up and stuff like that. And he just said, give it 2-3 minutes, it'll stop. And it did.
Lo and behold, it did.
Yeah.
It's like he was Jesus, wasn't it?
un-
Right?
It's like parting the Red Sea
Yeah,
to
it
the
was,
car.
It was. And they sort of looked, didn't they?
As if like, how do you know? Because
Yeah.
like where we're from, this stays in all day. And
Yeah.
it's just like, no.
Yeah, no,
And
that
then-
was a bit weird.
And then within like 4 minutes, the sun was out.
I know.
And it was just like,
and he was
off
like
you go to your
really
garden
smug,
festival.
wasn't he? He was
Yeah,
like,
it was just
oh,
like,
you know, told you.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic that it's bringing local, you know, tourism to this area is great
Yeah.
in one way. And I just wanted to give a shout out. These people don't know me or they don't know anything about us, but they're called Taranaki Tiki Tours and started by a couple, Zare Parks and Mark Bridger. And they're a tour company that are launching on December the 1st. I wish you all the best, guys.
Yes.
You know, thank you for bringing tourism to the region. And they're going to apparently, I was only reading this in the paper, but apparently they're going to meet people and just show them around.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, we'll give you, we'll put a link in the description to your website. And hopefully
Yeah.
that'll help you.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Or reach out to
I'll
us
put
if
the
you-
name underneath or whatever, like, you know, so
reach
you
out
can see
if you want us
it.
to do anything for you. Like, you
Yeah.
know, we're happy to do that for you.
Yeah, a bit of promotion.
Oh, yeah. So that was it. That was the
Well, no, yeah, well, you've. Oh, right, that's the news.
yeah, that's the news.
That's the news.
Yeah. And now that's the
That's
end of the news.
The
With
6
Liz and
o'clock
Brian.
news is over and done with. Put your
Yeah.
coffee down.
Now we just need to tell you the personal stuff, because I didn't feel right not telling you this. Are we all right for time and
we're
everything?
right at the moment, yeah.
And I'm not going to go too deep or anything into it, because we have made an audio podcast telling you all about what's happened and everything else. to
Why
do
we
with that.
came home early.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
we came home early. And that audio podcast will be released on YouTube in a couple of weeks, maybe. It's called Unwanted News. And what happened was, when we were in Napier, my mum phoned me. Locals, regulars of this show will know that Mum just lives down the road. She moved over to New Zealand a year after us, just to be with us. She's got my sister on one coast and she's got me here. And she's 71, very fit, very healthy, very well, very just great, like, you know. And she had a sore back. She'd been working at my sister's, helping her to
Do some
do
renovations.
renovations and things, and she thought she twisted her shoulder or her back or something. So she went to the doctors, and the doctor gave her a course of what's it called when you put that cup on your back?
Acupuncture and a few other things, like, you know, just
Yeah.
thinking it was a ripped tendon or something like that, or muscles in spasm that wouldn't
Yeah.
come out, like, you know. Yeah, and then she went to have a haircut, came out, slipped on the sidewalk, and hurt her hip,
Yeah.
really bad, and you know, she lost the sort of feeling in her right hand leg. So I got a bit worried. We were over in Napier. She thought, I'll go to the hospital, and went to the hospital saying it's probably from the pain in my back, which, you know, I'm having acupuncture and all these other things done. They did a bunch of scans, and it started off like with X-rays, CT scans, and ended up with an MRI scan, because they couldn't quite figure out what was what, whether it was something to do with the back or whether it was the lower legs and stuff like that. Anyway, it turns out that you know, she ends up with the diagnosis of stage 4 lung cancer, which is not great. And the leg is nothing to do with the cancer. It's to do with just bone degeneration through the years. I can't remember the name. Not synopsis, whatever it is. So stenosis, isn't it? Yeah. So we get this news on Labour Day in Napier. So we had to sort of cut short the house sitting. We phoned the house sitters who were in San Francisco at the time, and said, "Listen, we're going to have to cut it short by 4 or 5 days." We took the cats that we were looking after to a cattery and all that sort of stuff, and just got back as quick as we could. So that was what the rush was for, and that's why we've been not here for the last 2 weeks. Just sort of processing it and trying to figure out the way forward in something like this. It's not been easy. It really, really hasn't. But
thanks, Brian.
Yeah,
Thank you for
I thought that's
rescuing
just
me
like easy to say it, isn't it?
So it's we've been talking about this, the last couple of weeks, deciding which way to move forward with this. My mum is a strong lady. She's a very determined lady, and her journey we support her whatever she chooses to do on her journey.
Yep.
I'm just very, very grateful that she's so close to us, that we can spend so much time with her, and we're here to support her. But and
a super positive outlook on the way forward.
She very much has got a very super positive outlook. But we talked about this a couple of days ago or weeks ago, whatever, and we were like, how do we do this? Like, what do we just hide it from you? Do we just not mention it to you? Do we just pretend it's not happening? But we just feel that would be it would be it's not fair on the relationship that we've built and what you have given us over the last few years, being here on this channel, so much support. And it doesn't feel like, I'm going to be honest with you, this doesn't feel like a YouTube channel. It just feels like we're talking to friends. It always has done. And I think it always will do. And you wouldn't not tell your friends. And I know probably people will think, it's YouTube. It doesn't matter. This is just for the people who know us, who will know something's not up. They'll know something's not right.
Yeah.
They'll know that we're a little bit off, and we're going to, like you say, we would try not to be like that. But at the end of the day, we're human, and I think you respect the fact that we can come here and feel safe sharing with you just what is going on, and like I say, it's just something that we wanted to just not keep to ourselves, for the simple reason that we have the support here, that we do have a support system in this channel and in this community that you have very, 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 very kindly given to us. So just want to say thank you for that. And that's it, that's it. So life in New Zealand, we carry on. It's just...
We do. I mean, with what we do on YouTube, we put ourselves in the public eye. So, it's better to be upfront and say, hey, this is what we're going through at the moment. Sorry if we're not as happy or whatever it is and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
I just think it's about keeping it real.
It's keeping it real. And
that's what we've always been about.
Yeah,
just
and
keeping it real.
To keep thinking forward and not thinking what's going to happen or how it's going to happen. It's just... hey, let's just keep trying to be as normal as you can. And that's what everybody around you wants to be.
Including my mum.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest thing. That's what my mum said to me. She said, don't you dare stop doing what you're doing. Don't you dare stop your podcast. Because, I haven't podcast for a couple of weeks. I didn't write my newsletter for weeks and months. And she's like, Liz, don't please. I'm your biggest fan. I want to watch it. I'm just...
Yeah.
It's wrong. She just wants everything to just carry on as normal. And as hard as that is, it is, but it's what she wants, and it's what we want to do.
Well, it's what you want to do, because if you do keep it as normal and you keep every day, you just take every day as it comes and not think too far ahead.
Yes.
You really, really can't. It's just it's hard to do, but if you do it, then at least you're trying, to keep it normal and just keep enjoying what you're doing.
Do you know what makes this channel the best channel in the whole world? And we're not the biggest channel, and we know there's people out there doing the same content as us that have got hundreds of thousands and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? It's just we have never, ever, ever been about the numbers. We have never been one to... I mean, we could easily grow this channel quicker just by doing little quick, zappy, 10 best it, whatever. It's never, ever been about the numbers.
No.
It's always been about you. It's always been about the community, about me, Brian, and you. And that is it. You know, that's just that connection that you get by being able to do this. Unless you've ever done this, you wouldn't know. I don't think you'd understand what I mean. But just to be able to share with you and be real with you and just have that connection.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care if 5 people watch this channel, because those 5 people would be the best 5 people ever. And
that you connect with. It's
I
about
just feel so
connection.
lucky
That's what it is.
that we have got you. We've got the people that we've got on this channel. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And I just want to give you an example before we leave you today. I want to give you an example of why New Zealand and the world, actually, not just New Zealand. This isn't limited to New Zealand, but I'm going to talk about 2 Kiwi people next. But there's people who watch this who aren't from New Zealand. You know, they love New Zealand, they want to be in New Zealand, but they aren't from New Zealand. They're from all over the world. And times like this that I think I flipping love people. I love the human race. I just love human beings who are drawn to us with that kindness and just that sameness. You know, that's the thing that I love, is just that sameness, Brian.
It is.
Just we're just all
like
the
attracts
same.
like to a degree, doesn't it? Like, you know, where
yeah.
you're just like,
And I know
you feel safe.
Yeah, I know. Like, people will say, "Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going on about this a bit long now, but I know people will say, oh, you know, full of trolls." Never, no. We just don't attract it. It's just, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
So I'm just grateful to you. So can I just tell you 2 stories of the support that New Zealand has turned back to us, given back to us in the last couple of weeks. So last week, me and Brian were having a right old morning. Brian was going to the doctor's, and we were. It was, I don't know. The appointment was at 11 o'clock, and I wanted a cup of tea, and I was like, I'm late, last minute merchant. I never am on time for anything. I don't say that to brag. I just say that because that's the way I'm. Yeah. I never seem to be on time for anything. And I'm like, it's like 20 to 11, and Brian's saying, "Don't bother making a cup of tea. We've got to go. Come on." And he was going to drop me off at the cafe further down in town to work, and he was going to go to the doctor's. So I was like, "No, just put the kettle on. I want to take a cup of tea with me." And Brian was getting
It only takes 12 minutes.
It only takes 12 minutes to get there. And Brian was
speeding.
Like, Brian was like, "Come on, hurry up. The roads are all full of crap. We're not going to make it on time. Got to talk to the lollipop
Roads
man
have
on the way."
disintegrated. NPDC are doing the roadworks.
Anyway, so we get in the car, and you know what it's like. Husband and wife, no, like, you know, just tense argument, just... You shouldn't have talked. We should have gone earlier. And I'm saying to Brian, slow down, stop going up the backside of those people. You know, you're going too close to the car in front. And Brian's like, "Oh, I've got to get there, and I won't have time to drop you at the cafe." And I said, "Fine, I'll walk to the cafe. I'll just walk, like, you know, because it's only like 5 minutes away." Anyway, we pull up at the doctor's.
Think of me while you're sitting in the doctor's, of me walking to the cafe. Nice.
Oh, yes, that's what I said to Brian. And so let's just say it was tense in the car. And when we pulled up at the doctor's, which is on the main road of New Plymouth, I got out of that car and I freaking slammed the door and I said, "See you later at the cafe." And Brian's like, "Yes, see you later." Like,
hope it rains.
Sod you. And, you know, and I don't know why we were being like that. It was everything that's going on and all the rest of it. But anyway, I get out the car and it's, like I say, busy, middle of New Plymouth
St
Road.
Albans Street it is.
Yeah, cars going up and down. I get out of the car, I put my computer bag on my shoulder, and I'm like marching down the road like this. Just
stomping down the road.
Stomping down the road. Face like bloody thunder. I mean, literally, I was verging between tears and wanting to just go back and just stab him. Like, you know, it was just, I'll one or the other.
Let Brian talk.
Brian will not talk. Brian has talked enough. And anyway, so I'm walking down the road, cars going up and down, and this car comes along. And a pickup truck, and like I heard brakes screech, and the car turned round and goes back down the other way. Well, along that road, there's all car dealerships and stuff like that, so I didn't think anything of it. And then this car pulls up right alongside me on the pavement, winds down the window. Well, didn't wind down the window, pushed down the window, so the window goes like this.
Utes have got electric windows these days.
And he goes, "Liz!" And I went, you know when you just think, what? And I said, "Hi," and he went, "You're from It's a Drama YouTube." And I'm like, I was so embarrassed. I was like, yeah. And all I could think was, oh my God, that guy probably just thought, he said, I saw you. He said, I saw you and Bri getting out the car. And I thought, yeah, I bet you bloody did. And he said, and I thought, I know those two. They're from YouTube. I'm going to go and say hello. So he'd done a Yui and he'd come back up. And I just want to say his name is Kurt Pierce and he works for Auto City in New Plymouth. Kurt, one, I'm sorry I looked like a miserable old sod when you saw me, because now you know why. But two, you made my morning.
Yeah, you made that. Yeah, but you made our day, because Liz told me all about this story afterwards.
I did.
Like,
I was like, guess what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and yeah, Kurt works at Max Pennington's Auto City in New Plymouth.
Such a nice guy you are. You are a flipping lovely guy. He was like, he was just like, just so friendly and so, yeah, I love what you do. He said, I absolutely love your stuff and saw you and Brian, I recognise, and I was like, I'm sorry, Kurt, if I was probably a little bit, and he said to me, oh, do you get this often? And I'm like, no, not really. You know, just.
But you do. It's the most unexpected time you get it. Like, you know, sometimes in the supermarket, sometimes, you know, like once in Napier, you just sit there. I think we talked about that.
But it's just
you don't get it all the time.
But
it's
you know,
like,
that you're stomping down the street looking like an old witch. Someone's like, oh, you're from that happy comedy program that I see on YouTube.
There you go.
So yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out to you, Kurt.
Yeah.
You absolutely made my day. And before we go, this is something that I have to share with you. It's a little story, and I think I've mentioned this before. But this is an example, and the reason I'm sharing this with you, because it's an example of, I don't know whether it's to say, you know, you never know what a real person is like, or you don't know who's out there for you, or you don't know what support is out there. I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say, but the story is, a couple of years ago, when we first started this channel, we would talk just about differences in New Zealand and New Zealand life and things like that. We've since got another channel, NZAhead podcast, and we talk more on that channel now about like moving to New Zealand and, you know, like what it is to actually move. But back then, that's all we talked about. And we invited a guy called me up, or he left a message on YouTube. His name was Gordy, and he left a message on YouTube and he's like, I'd love to come on your show and talk to you about New Zealand. And so we had him on the show. We did a Zoom call with him. He told us all about New Zealand. It was a great episode because he talked about what it was like in his time growing up in the 50s in New Zealand. It's a great episode. You should go and listen to it. And, you know, he's just talks about what it means to be a Kiwi.
He's a real Kiwi guy, isn't he?
He is a Kiwi guy. If you saw him, you'd probably just think, you know, Kiwi guy through and through. And this is why, and I mean that in the, you'll know why I'm going to say in a minute.
Yep.
Anyway, Gordy signs up for my newsletter, which in itself was a bit of a shock to me because I write about very personal stuff. I write about what's going on in my life as an author and as a content creator and the kids and just very, very personal stuff. That newsletter, by the way, is called Front Row. If you want to sign up for that, I'll put the link on the description.
It's a drama.com/front row.
Yeah.
Simple as that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And he signed up for that. And through that newsletter, like I say, it has been regular emails, very, very in depth. And through that newsletter, he would reply to me by email over the last 2 years. And the more he replied to me, the more I just felt like this guy is just, the connection that I feel with Gordy is just, it's unreal. And he's a writer himself. He's an excellent writer, very, very lovely writer, a very arty person, and lives down in Wellington with his family and wife. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, Gordy, you know, I'm sure you don't, but I just want you to know that your emails to me, your support that you give me, you always refer to, I've written it down because there's a name for it. You always refer to Māoridom, which is basically the traditions and the ways of the Māori people. And Gordy is very, very knowledgeable about this, and he shares a lot of it with me. And just like little tidbits I've shared here and there on the channel, like, you know, about having the river next to you and the mountain and things like that. And last week I wrote an email about Mum and about how I was feeling. And I'm just going to read you a little bit about what he said, because it ties back into what I was saying about the mountain, about coming home to the mountain and that feeling that I mentioned earlier on in the show. So thank you, Gordy. I haven't asked your permission to do this, but I hope this is okay, and I'm sure it will be, because you're just that kind of person. Like I say, you've been on the show before. So he says to me, Liz, I've mentioned that in Mouldydom, everyone has a mountain, a place they return to in times of doubt, trouble and uncertainty. In your case, I will say that this is Mount Taranaki. Mountains are seen as unmoving, solid, dependable and protecting, but not always. Sometimes they are white and snow-covered and grey or foreboding, or just not there because they're hidden in mist. They can bring sadness and they can bring pleasure and joy. And that sounds just like you. But just as mountains have good and bad times, so do we all. Your mountain uplifts people's spirits and provides joy. Mountains remind us that they are bigger than us, but they are also like us. When Gordy wrote that to me, I mean, literally, my hairs on my arms standing up. It was just, you know, when something just pulls at your heart, it resonated so much with me. Now, like I say, this is a guy that I've never met in person. We've had him on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I want to say is just thank you. Thank you so
Gordy.
much, because I wanted to do this in public, because I don't think you quite know how I always write back to you and say, thank you, Gordy, and I really appreciate it. But I wanted to do this in public because your words mean an awful lot to me. You're just, thank you.
It's very supportive, and being a rock at certain times, you're just like that mountain, you know.
Yes.
It's so good to have someone like you sending wonderful emails.
And while we're at it, thank you to all of you that email, the comment and message and share and all the things that you do that you're supposed to do, that you do. And I think every week we think, wow, you know, it's just wonderful that you're doing this. Anyway, that's probably enough personal things, but
But it's a personal. This has been a personal show.
It is a personal show, and you watching this,
if people are still watching now, then you're true It's a Drama fans. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I just want to share one more thing before I go. Sorry, Brian. I just want to share one more thing before I go, because I was down the beach this morning and I was walking and I had my meditation music on, like, you know, this ding, 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 like really calming stuff. It was a beautiful morning. All the ocean was flowing and just gorgeous down there. Sparkly black sand, absolutely precious, lovely. And I stood there and looked out to sea, and I thought about every single one of you on this channel. I promise you, I just thought about every single one in my mind, and I thought about coming up and just giving you a hug and then moving along and giving you a hug and moving along and giving you a hug. And it's like, I just thought, there you go, you know, that's what you need to do, is just remember the people that are here with you on this journey. And I want you to remember that we are here for you. So yes, just take that little bit of Lizdom, like, you know, that's just imagine that we've just got we're holding your hand, or, you know, just whatever you're comfortable with, but just know that we're here for you, and we're appreciative of you being here for us. So without further ado, I would like to say, have a wonderful week. Keep smiling, and I will speak to you soon.
So kia kaha, stay strong, just like that mountain up there, and ki'u, stay true, and that's true to yourself. And hey, normal service will be next time. So see you again.
I don't know what normal service is, but
you know
bye.
what I mean. Okay, see you now.
Okay,
bye.
Taranaki in New Zealand has been voted the second best region in the world to live. Apparently this region is the sunniest, there's loads to do and everything's brilliant. But how true is that?
It seemed really like dead, and it was just like, and it was grey and rainy, and the beach was black, and it was like, I don't like it, I really don't like it.
In this week's episode, we're going to jump in and give you 8 pros and cons of what life is like living in the region of Taranaki.